Hey guys, my name is Aashar Wahla, and in this video I'm going to create a demo chart in Flutter application, and the final product will look something like this. It will be a randomly generated graph, and as you guys can see on your screen, it will work exactly like this, that their random data will be selected after a particular time period, and that will be shown in the form of graph. So let's start. The plugin which we are going to use for our this particular project will be FL Charts, and it is very common plugin and very popular plugin among the Flutter developers which want to incorporate graphs in their project. So let's start with, first of all, importing the charts library. So what we are going to do right now is we're just going to remove the center widget over here, and we are just going to remove the text within the center and replace it with a size box, and we are just going to give it some height and width. So for height I'm going to, and for the child of this we will be using a line chart. So if we just save it right now, we are getting an error, one option argument expected. So what argument is expected right now? So if we just move our mouse on to this, then this called just a sec. So we have a line chart data which will be passed in through this constructor, and it is compulsory, so we cannot skip it. So we will have to incorporate this. So what are we going to do with that? So what we will do is create a variable which will hold this data, and we will pass that particular field when we will be creating this chart. So if we initialize our variable like this, and the next thing which we are going to do, a function which when called will initialize all the values in the line chart data. So what we are going to do is void set chart data. So what will happen in this, that we will update the value of the data which is line chart data variable, and we have multiple fields available within that constructor, and the one which we will be using term by term is, first of all, we are using grid data. So what is happening in grid data is it will have multiple colors, and it will have show us option that do we want to show grids or not. So grid are basically the squares which are between the x-axis and the y-axis, you can see on the screens. So I want them, so I will be having some properties over here. So what if I want to show them? That will be true, as I want to show them. And should I, that vertical lines will should be visible, and that should also true because I want them. So next option is, do I want the drawing lines? So it's basically an animation. So what I'm going to do is create a get drawing horizontal line, and what is going to happen in here is it will give us a value. It will basically callback function, and what we will be returning in this function will be fl line. So just let me give a second so I can remove, first of all, the errors. Just a second. This and the what error am I getting basically? Hmm. Okay, it's my bad. I have just going to the line chart data. So in the FL line, sorry. So I'm just going to pass in some color values. So which will be you can say a hexadecimal value which I have already selected for my project, which will be 0xFF37434D. This let me recheck that value for you guys, and here I have that. So what I'm going to do next is I have to provide the width of the stroke, which will be 1.0. So from the on the latest version of Dart, we can just miss out this 0.0 value, and that's it. So we have to do the same with the vertical lines. So I'm just going to copy it, and instead of horizontal line, I will be using vertical lines, and the color is same and everything is all same. So the next we will move towards the titles data. So what will be the data titles along the x-axis and y-axis, how should they appear and what are their values. So let's start the titles data, and we have a class called FL titles data. And what we're going to do is, first of all, I want to show them in my particular project, or this will be true. And bottom titles, and do I want them or do I not want them, then it's up to me, and I will be choosing STS side titles. And do I want to show them, again it should be true. And what should be the reserved size for that particular titles, and that I'm going to go with 22. And just get text styles, that what are the styles we will be using. So this we will be using this particular text style, which I'm just going to go over here. Just let me copy it from so this is the text style which we will be using, and this is bottom title, and we have an other field, which will be margin, and I will be just giving it a size of 8. So we also have another option for the left titles. We have done this from the bottom titles, and we also have to do it for the left titles. So what we are going to do is just copy it, and for the left titles I'm just going to paste it again. So after we have defined the values of the left titles, next what we are going to do is show the border data. So if I go to border data, and we have also separate class for the border data, and do you want to show them, in my particular case I do want to show them, which will be true. And the next value will be the border, what should be the border, and I'm just going to do border dot all, and color will be this with particular width. So just assign the minimum x value, which will be 0. What will be the max x value, which will be 11. Minimum y will be again 0, and minimum max y will be 6. So next we move to the line bars data, and this should be a list. And if you don't know where I came to know about this, is just if you hover over the line bar data, it shows the data type, which is list line chart bar data. So in the list section I will be creating a new line chart bar data, and within that we have to use the sports. So I'm just giving it a, you can say a, it's just random value, we will just filling it up. So is curve, and I will be giving it to because it just look aesthetically pleasing. And color, I will be using a gradient color, which I will be just creating right after completing this. And I also want the width, which will be the bar width, and I want it to be 5. Alongside that I also want that should be the stroke rounded or not, and I want it round, so I will just make it true. Alongside that, should I it should be a dot data, and I don't want it to be dot data, I just want to be a simple line. So what I'm going to do is in dot data, at fl dot data, I will just make it show to false. And then last option which we're going to do in here is below bar data. And if we go into documentation over here, you can just do it all over here, and it just show you data below the bar. And what I want to do is bar area data, and it should be true because I do want to show them. And color, so I will be filling it up after I create the gradient. So just first of all, let's move toward the sports. So what will be the, so just first of all, let's um, quickly finish up this gradient colors. So I'm just going to create a gradient color with this list of these two colors, and this can work as a list of color which will be appear as a gradient. And in the bar area data, we will be mapping this list to multiple colors. So how I'm going to do that, it will very simple. So just gradient colors dot map, and I will be mapping it to color dot, color is basically what we are getting over here. Just let me write over here, color with opacity 0.3, and as we are going to create a iterable, so we will shift it to the list. So if you are just wondering why I'm just getting this error before compiling, so I have a plugin installed which is error lens, and it is very recommended. You should also have it on your device. And if you want me to make another video on my setup on the Flutter development, do let me know in the comment section below, and I will be doing that soon. So just next we should move toward the FL spots. So how are they working? So FL sports are basically the sports which will uh, create a chart, and as we are creating it dynamically, and we want the chart to start from the 0. So what this FL spot mean, that 0 along the x-axis and 0 along the y-axis. So this is x-axis and this is y-axis. So our graph will be starting from this point. So what is basically happening is this data, this FL spots will be appearing over here. If just over here spots, and I will just give them pass this value over here, and this sports will ultimately making a chart. And what we want is that we want to randomly update the chart, so the value of the chart get updated as I shown in the start of the video, that it somehow appears to be a dynamic chart which is updating with the time. So how I am going to do that is that I will be creating a function which will be start creating data. So to be more precise, demo data, and this will be an async function. I will let you know that why it is an async, because we are using futures in here. So basically I want 11 values by 11, because if we go down here we have 11 max values along x-axis. So that is our reason we want 11, and for to get that 11 values I will be creating a for loop, and I less than 12. So this will provide us with 12 values, and as we already have initial value, so what we're going to do, if I is equals to 0, it's basically for the first time, we will just continue means it will just break the loop. It will if the value of the I will be 0, it will just pass through the loop, so it will not execute the following lines. But if we will pass the break, so if we will use break, it will just completely terminate the for loop. And what we are going to do after that is we are going to use a base future.delayed, and what we will be doing is that we have to provide a duration in there, and it should be 1 second, and this can be of your own choice. And after we wait for that particular video or duration, what we're going to do then is we have a random class which we get when we import the dart.math library. And if we import that, so what we are going to do right now is that we are just going to create a random variable of the random class, and we will be getting a random value for that. So first of all, if we are going flsports.add, flsports is the name of the list we have created of flsports, which will appear on the screen, and we have to add same variable flsport as the list is of variable flsport. So if we just take a look at the here, we want this to be double, and this value we will be getting from the loop are integer. And the way to convert integer to double is to first of all convert integer to string and string to double. So double dot parse. So if we initially pass I to it, then we are getting an error. So the argument in can be assigned to parent string. So for that purpose, we will be converting it to string. And the same will be done for the y-axis. But we don't want that to happen over here, because then it will be a, you can say, a parallel graph, a straight line, which we don't want. So what we want is that second value should be random. So for that, what we will be doing is range, not range, sorry, random dot next double. So it will provide us with a random double value. Done. And after that, what this should be done. You may think it should be done. First of all, we are getting an error over here, and data, we have to pass our data over. So this is the data we have created ahead of time. So as we have created it a null label, so for the sake of the stamp, we're just going to get non-available, and it should be not null, so we will be initializing it with empty line general. So just performing a hot restart, and this is something on the screen. So to make it appear, first of all, what we're going to do is make the body background color to colors dot black, and if we restart the app, it's just simple. So what is the error we are facing right now? The error is that we are not calling the function which we have created. So how we are going to overcome that error? So we are going to call the functions in the init state. So when our function will be initializing, we want them to initialize our functions. So first of all, we want to get the chart data, and second, we also want to start creating the demo data. So if I reload the app right now, it should work. But there seems to be an error with our app, and which is the value is not updating over here. That seems a bit confusing. But if I hot reload the app, it's working as it should. So what is the error? So the error is that we are not setting the state of the app. After we update the value, what we have to do is set state, and within that set state I have to call set chart data. So if I restart and rerun the app, it should work. So the other main error which we are getting right now is it is just between the range 0 and 1. So how to recover that? We will recover from this issue by multiplying our value just a little bit lost within my code. So we will be multiplying it by 6. So if we just rerun our app, so it is working as expected. So I really hope so that you like this video. If you do, just give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for further videos. And do let me know in the comment section below that what should be the changes I should make to my channel, and what kind of videos will you like to watch in the future. So thanks.